So I've been doing video blogs in order to help, encourage people, motivate people, inspire people, but also just speak on real stuff. And I was thinking today that I would go in about discipleship, mentorship. Oftentimes being Christians and being intentional about making disciples, it's very easy for people to say, man, I can't relate, to this person or that person. And you start thinking, I've got to be well equipped in the Bible, and I've got to know, scriptures, and I have to do all this stuff in order to qualify to be used by God to disciple somebody. And so you look at me, I don't have no tattoos on my face, I'm a white man, I am from the inner city, so that's why I do ministry in the inner city, but I never done prison time, and I do a lot of prison ministry. And so when I walk with guys that don't look like me, it's further proof that you don't have to be able to relate to a person in order to have an impact on their life. You don't have to have done prison time to disciple someone who's coming out of prison. You don't have to have came from the streets in order to disciple someone from the streets. You can play a small role or a huge role in their discipleship. And so I'm with my boy James. Many of y'all have seen seen James in videos. We're raising money to help him fight some court cases he has. And I asked James if he would just share kind of the discipleship journey from his perspective, and how that's been with me, as well as some of the other men that have come alongside him. So go in, James.
Well, first of all, this is the drug test. I get drug tested weekly, 5-6. That's just a part of it. As far as the mentorship and what he's been able to accomplish is point frankly, he's got to be able to understand where I came from. But there are a lot of things that I think that I knew, but having to submit to a mentor, he goes deep. He gets into your relationship with your girlfriend, premarital sex. We get into not having a girlfriend because you might be going to jail or whatever you're dealing with your court stuff. We also deal with the music, movies, what we're watching. If I want to be anything like Trey, which is what the end goal is, to be able to disciple, and so if I want to be in his position, I gotta learn what did he do. And so he doesn't need to know about gangs or the prison life to mentor me. I'm trying to get where he's trying to get. Now, if he's trying to go to prison, I can mentor him on prison. Yeah. But that's not the case. And so he's able to plug me in with other mentors and goal coaches and financial coaches. So he plays a big time role of plugging me into these different circumstances. And
how many people are helping in the discipleship process for you, mentors and things like that?
I got anywhere right now, I'd say from 3 to 5.
So 3 to 5 people. Do they look like you?
None, only one, Big D. That's the only one.
Shout out Big D. And why do you think it's important that it's not just one person? How has it helped having multiple people in your life?
Well, because when one mentor makes me mad, I can get with the other one's event.
I've done that.
No, but really though, they all help in a different area. Gil helps me with recovery, coming from where he come from. Trey helps me with walking this thing out spiritually. Big D has been where I've been. I got Dennis, a financial.
Finances, career,
corporate tycoon. This is somebody that knows, and each one of them play a different valuable role.
Yeah. How hard has it been for you just to be in that new surrounding? Because you ain't, Big D is one in your life, but you ain't around gang members anymore like you used to be. But you do want to go back and eventually impact young people, deter them from gangs and things like that. So how uncomfortable was it for you to start hanging around a whole new type of people? You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, it's like remember if anybody's ever walked into the club or a prison for the first time, you're real nervous. You're like, you got to talk a certain way. You got to know a whole bunch of scriptures. Maybe you got to try to pick up your pants or anything like that. So if you walk into a relationship in a different environment and you really don't know what
If they'll accept you.
yeah, if they'll accept me. So I'm trying to do all these extra things, and they're like, man, just chill, you know, because we're gonna accept you where you're at.
And I also wanted to touch on this, and you know, as far as putting tats on your face and stuff, some young people that might watch this, it may look cool, or it helps a lot with James's testimony because it grabs your attention. But he's had some struggles with his tattoos, and it's hurt him in many ways. But thank God, you know, God is able to overcome the hearts of men who judge him that way. But how have the tattoos negatively affected you? We know that it helps with your testimony.
Man, we just in New Mexico, we went to go do an event, and we could say whatever we want to say about the situation, but point blank, the tattoos can make people, even the best people, kind of judge you and make sure you're really walking this thing out. And so the tattoos hinder me in relationships, dealing with different churches. Right now, you see this right here, I'm having to grow all this stuff out because my lawyer, who's representing me, says, hey, we got to do something. We got to put makeup on. Like, it's offensive.
Yeah.
I got naked women on my head. I got gang-related tattoos. So, ministry, it looks good, but for the corporal world, for the courtrooms, it looks like I haven't changed. Like I'm still glorifying stuff.
Yeah,
So.
and you know, James is, I mean, for 5 months we've been on this journey, but go back a year and a half almost. James spent 3 months kind of coming through DTS training, and then he just turned and went back to the streets to be with this girl. And I remember trying to talk him out of it, but he wouldn't. And I said, well, you know, let me know, you know, how that works out when you go, because we know sin and Satan, he always desires to steal, kill, and destroy. And so what would you say about the whole idea of turning away from that discipleship, the consequences of that? What can people be encouraged by from your story, that if when you turn away from discipleship, you turn away from God, what does that open the door for?
Oh man, like you said, it started with a girlfriend with premarital sex, and that door opened because I was listening to secular music while I'm trying to make a decision about the rest of my life. And as I say, you know what, Trey, this Christian stuff, it got too much for me, and I turned away. And now I'm out on bond for 3 different cases. I just had to pay almost $10,000 for a lawyer. So if you ask me, I might be spending 25 to life in prison. So I would encourage anybody, man, if they done pulled you out and you're right here and you have made it out, you didn't even came to understand it, man. You hold on. Don't walk away from this thing, even if it hurts, you know, of what they're saying. Because he does not tell me everything I want to hear. He tells me the things I don't want to hear. He tells me the things that are only going to help me. But hey, man, who's God going to send to you to tell you these things, especially if you ain't listening to him in prayer and stuff? So never turn away from discipleship. I mean, I dragged his name through the mud. I said he put me on the pedestal so the ministry didn't do nothing for me. I slandered their name, but he was able to accept me back with open arms, and that's just so powerful on what his ministry's been able to do.
And I would also say, you know, by the way, to God be the glory for that. God has definitely empowered our ministry to be able to help people like James that are going through tough times. But it's taken a lot of time and a lot of money in order to get James to a point of health. But our future plans for James, just like anybody who we can disciple long term, our future plans is that he would become a drug counselor, that he would run multiple transition houses for us to help men going through what he's going through. And so the future is bright. We just got to beat this case, these 3 cases, so that he can walk in his destiny and not have to do it in prison. Because he will do it in prison. He will be a soul winner in prison. But we believe God has a purpose for him out here. He's already running one of our transition houses. He's discipling a guy named Joe. Matter of fact, that's Joe right there. Hey, Joe. Yes, sir. Say hi. Hey. Wait, did I get him? Yeah. Anyway, that's Joe over there. And so Joe just came to the ministry dealing with, you know, addiction and nowhere to go and trying to get his life together. James is in a transition house where he's at. So James is helping him and learn how to transition people into the men of God, the disciples that they're called to be. And so what would you say about your future, man? Let's just say these cases go away or you get deferred probation. How optimistic are you about your future now, bro, since you've been walking this path?
Oh man, I always tell two major things I always tell people: your 5-year plan and your credit score. Those are two main things that when you come to this life, that are really important to you. My first thing is to finish my LCDC training, and then peer recovery coaching, and then just getting involved with ministry and just the recovery aspect of everything. So my future is bright because I've been in the game for 20 years. But if I can just get the book smart for recovery, I'm going to be one of the best counselors ever, probably over a regional situation. So the sky's the limit when it comes to what God and when He puts the right people around you.
And he's doing this stuff now, and so once he gets the licenses and stuff to do it, it's just, I mean, it's automatic. Eyes on Me is already dealing with people that need recovery. And so real quick, in like a minute, tell us the cost that you've paid in terms of committing to classes and things like that in order to be on the road you're on now. Like, what does it cost you in terms of
no free time, no personal life. One of the major things we said is no personal life. As far as trying to start a family, you're going to have to put all that stuff on hold. And that's been one of the hardest things. I'm talking about nonstop classes, Monday through Friday, 2 services on Sunday, just because of the people that are pouring into you and getting the needs that are met there. It's like 90 meetings in 90 days. This is far more substantial. You know, this is drug testing, so much stuff. There's so much being poured into you. But I'm going to tell you something, it's been worth it, but it has been a lot of hours, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of just work, grind.
You've also, you started working bricklaying. He was bricklaying right when he got out of prison as proof that he was on the right track. He worked in the hot sun, and I remember you would always tell me, like, man, bro, I'm doing what I got to do. And now he works for the ministry out here at the hangar, which you can see behind me as well. He works out here, and he speaks to the young kids, pours into them, but you also do lawn work and anything else that needs to be done around here. And so, you know, you're looking at an example of what a relationship. I mean, look at us. We look different, but you know, we have the same heart to follow God. James was in a situation, he needed someone like me, and the ministry needs someone like him to go forward with other people. And so I just want to encourage, you know, anybody watching this video blog that it's available. The people are out there who need help, who want help. James is not robbing people anymore. James is not doing drugs. He's not selling drugs. He's not, you know, high. You know, this is what people in your neighborhood can look like. This is what they can look like sober, you know, refraining, you know, practicing abstinence. I got some little girls right here, so I gotta watch what I say. But practicing abstinence, waiting for, you know, their family to begin, but as they're in this discipleship process, learning how to hold a steady job, learning how to be a disciple that makes disciples, share their faith. He was just in New Mexico testifying on stage. And so I mean, I could go on and on about what God is doing in his life. And look, I'm an available vessel. There's millions of Christians across the world that hopefully we can use our relationship to motivate that, man, we can make disciples. We can teach people how to obey God, and they can have a future and pay it forward with the next man, just like he's doing with Joe. And so thanks for listening to this video blog. I know it went over a little bit. Anything you want to say?
Nah, just that everybody's always asking, like, man, what are y'all doing? What mentorship? Hey, man, it started from scratch. We didn't know how this was going to get off the ground, so it started with almost nothing, just a whole bunch of guys plugging into each other and uniting. So yeah, it can explode anywhere.
Just have a willing heart. Praise God. Yep.